Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's look is inspired by one of the makeup looks Younha was wearing in her latest music video, which I'll leave linked down below in case you don't know what I'm talking about. I originally just posted this as just a random look on my blog, but I've worn it a couple of times and I really like it, so I thought I'd film it for you as well. Starting with the skin, I'm not changing it up too much, I'm just going to follow my current go-to kind of routine. So I'm first going in with this skin tone sun base, and I'm kind of using this instead of a primer, partly because I've run out of primer, but also because it kind of does the same thing. It just gives the product something to stick to, but I also get the added bonus of sun protection as well. Next, I'm going to do a bit of colour correcting. So first I'm using this peach colour underneath the eyes, as this is going to cancel out blues and purples. Then I'm using a green to cancel out any redness, which basically is just the entire centre of my face. For coverage, I'm using the Beyond Alice in Blooming Snow Cushion. I've been using this for a couple of weeks now and I'm still really enjoying it, but I'm having a bit of a hard time wearing it in the hot weather recently. It tends to break up around my nose a lot, even if I powder it. I could totally go back over it with the cushion, but then it wrecks any kind of contouring I've done, and if I'm out of the house, I don't really want to be recontouring my nose throughout the day. So what I'm going to start doing instead is just using my Claire's concealer around my nose, and then using the cushion everywhere else. Speaking of the Claire's concealer, I'm also going to go and take that underneath my eyes and blend it out with my finger. Next, I'm gonna break my powder, apparently. I don't know what happened here. And I'm just gonna use that to set any areas that usually crease or get greasy. Next, I'm gonna add some color back into my face with a cream contour stick and a kabuki brush. I can't actually remember the last time I used any kind of powder bronzer. So weird, I used to hate cream products. Bronzing and contouring like this is not really as popular in Korean makeup looks as it is over here, but like I said, I'm just going to do my go-to base because obviously I like how it looks and I know how it photographs, so just do whatever works for you. If you wanted to follow the look more closely, then I probably wouldn't add any bronzer. For blush, I'm going to mix it up a bit and wear pink today. How adventurous of me. And I'm just going to apply this basically underneath the eye, right in the apples of the cheeks, and then pull it upwards, more like where your highlighter would usually go. Then I'm going to finish off the skin with a highlight, and I'm using the Illamasqua Beyond powder in the shade OMG. Next, I'm going to go ahead and do my brows. Younha's brows are pretty straight, so if you can do that with your brows and you want to, then great, you can totally do that. I can't really, I can only make them flat to an extent, and then the natural curvature of my head kind of just makes them look arched anyway. So this is how mine always end up whenever I try to do them flat. Moving on to the eyes, I started with a primer, and then I applied a cream coloured eyeshadow just all over the lid and right up to the brow as a base. Then I'm going to do my usual wash of taupe through the socket. I'm also going to add some of that same shade a little bit underneath the eye to kind of fake having eyeshadow. It looks kind of crazy in person and here too actually before I add the rest of the makeup, but I've done this enough times now to know how it photographs. I like how it photographs, just not how it looks in real life. But for photos you tend to have to be a bit more obvious with the makeup you're wearing for it to kind of translate properly. But in real life you might want to tone this down a bit or maybe skip it entirely if your eyes don't naturally have that cute little batty area. Now this whole upper lid area is just basically guesswork because there's a bunch of colour grading on the music video, so I can't tell exactly what shades they used, so I just had to kind of make it up. I first went in with Mango Tango by Makeup Geek, and then I took light bronze from the Lorac Pro palette, and I just blended that over the top and blended it upwards and outwards into that wash of taupe that I applied at the beginning. Now it's time for the fun bit. You're going to want to take a pink eyeshadow. I'm using Simply Marlena by Makeup Geek, And you're going to want to apply this with some kind of slim brush, like an angled brush or something like this flat definer brush. I'm just going to apply this across the lid, keeping it quite tight to the lash line towards the inner corner, but then I'm going to wing it out, keeping the wing pretty flat. Using eyeshadow for liner is not only great for giving you a nice soft, delicate look, but it's also great if you're someone who struggles with applying liner usually. With eyeshadow, it's very difficult to mess it up because you don't really have to worry about getting it super even, because the edges are hazy anyway, so you'll barely be able to tell. You also don't have the pressure of a setting time like you would with a liquid liner or a gel liner. You can take your time with it, and it's really easy to fix up as well. You can just use your regular concealer brush. So I fixed up the edges with a concealer brush, and I also applied some of that pink eyeshadow underneath the eye, bringing it across to about halfway. You want to leave a little gap at the outer corner, so there's a little space between the top wing and the bottom wing. And like I mentioned, if you mess up, maybe you bring it too far across, you can just fix it up with the concealer brush. So underneath the eye, on the other half, in the remaining space that we have, I'm going to apply some gold eyeshadow there to begin with. Then I also went in with the Illamasqua powder I used before, over the top of that, but this time I applied it wet so the shimmer and the colour would be nice and intense. Now I think she was wearing a brown liner on the inner third of her eye, so I did that with Tarte's Clear Pot liner in brown. I didn't actually use this the first time I wore this look on my blog. I just used a pencil, and I think it looked much better because it wasn't as dark as this. But this will fade eventually because it is on the waterline, but this lasts way longer on me before it starts gooping up in the inner corner of my eye. You know, when like the product just starts collecting there? That's a problem I have with eyeliner pencils a lot. Next, I picked up my highlight shade again, but this time I'm highlighting underneath my brow, and I also decided to bring it down onto the lid too, since I already had that gold on there. The lashes I used on top are the XO Beauty lashes in the style The Innocent. And the lashes I used underneath the eye are also by XO Beauty in the style The Understated. I trimmed these bottom ones down a bit because I don't think they went all the way across underneath her eye. And this is actually the first time I've worn eyelashes underneath my eye. Not in this video, but like when I did this look the other day. So to apply them, I just place them to begin with. I let them grip a little bit, and then I use the end of the tweezers just to kind of push them up a bit so they curved out more like natural lashes instead of just being flat to the skin. So moving on to the lips, the lip colour is a little bit of a mishmash. First I applied Beyond's two-tone lipstick in the shade 06, and looking back actually, I think this looks really nice, so you could totally leave it like this if you wanted to. But I actually went in and I faded that product just by tapping it with my finger. Then I added a dab of Sweet Talker by Anastasia Beverly Hills in the center. Again, just blending that out with my finger. And I thought I stopped there, but apparently not. So here I'm applying a corally colour, I guess. I'd forgotten I did this, so I can't remember what this is called, so I'll just write it down below. But it looks like I'm just applying this around the edges and again just blending that with my finger. But then that's it. I think this is such a cute look, and not in a like, oh my god, that's so cute kind of way. It's a very cutesy look, which is not my usual style, but I really like it. So let me know if you try this. I'd love to see it. Make sure you tweet me or Instagram me or something. I'll leave all my social media links down below. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll speak to you next time. Bye.